Jill, during my research, I came across terms Vigeraden, which I believe means something along the lines of warcraft, and folkviga, which I believe means warrior or people's warrior. Have I interpreted those correctly, do you think?
Yes, and I think one of the things about the Anglo Saxons is they were really fascinated by wordplay. I mean, we talked earlier about swordplay. They were fascinated by wordplay. And a lot of the vocabulary that you get in Anglo-Saxon dictionaries and in the thesaurus is to do partly derived from poetry, for example, where you want to find really interesting ways of describing things. So, and I'm sure something a lot of people are familiar with is that, for example, they would call the sea the Wales Road, because people go along a road, whales go along a road. So instead of saying the sea, they would say the Wales Road. So one of the things that's difficult to know is how much what you're describing is part of everyday life and how much it's poetic. One of the things about the thesaurus is they use tags to try and show you where the words come from. And so it might be a P for poetic, it might be a Q meaning we're not so sure about this one, it might be a bit odd, or O if it's only ever used once, because of course so much of the written is lost. We have quite a lot, but so much is lost. So you might say, oh, this is a very common word for this, because it's cropped up 5 times, but actually it might only have cropped up 5 times in 2 of the things you've ended up with. And there were 47 words in the thesaurus for battle, and some of them are words we use now, like fought. Fought is an Anglo-Saxon word, to fight. Some of them are used very rarely, so it's really hard to know. However, you just have to read Alfred's Life of Asser to know that fighting was a really common part of a lot of people's lives, or swept through where they lived. So, and it does turn up a lot in heroic poetry. So we have a lot of words. I mean, it's very difficult to go back and reconstruct, I think. One of the things that the thesaurus does that's really useful, and again it can only work with what it's got, is that it will show you, if you look up a word, you can see the different areas and concepts that it turns up in, which gives you some idea of what the function of that word was in the minds of the people and in the day-to-day life of the people. And that's really useful, I think, and that's why it's very interesting that some of the words for weapon are part of everyday life and some of them don't crop up at all anywhere else. So yeah, I think fighting was an important element of life, quite often.